Recording has begun.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Shahzad Hussain and I live on Primary Way, the bottom here. Today is the 3rd of October 2023 and it has now been 57 days that I've had no contact with my brother Talib. This is where we used to live. Well, this is where he was. This is where he was kidnapped from. And I'm continuing to make my daily diaries of logging what's happened. So I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that this is why am I exposing all my privacy here? But as I said last time, what's the use of privacy when the powers that be can do you in like they've done me in and my family in? And so at this stage in my life, I'm simply looking to tell the truth and expose them for their lies and corruption. And so when I say they, I think it needs to be clarified, who do I exactly mean and what are my allegations? What exactly am I alleging? I'm alleging that the local authority, Bradford Council, in collaboration with the other authorities, namely West Yorkshire Police and the health authorities, the National Health Service, which includes the Bradford District Care Trust, which oversees, I think, ambulances and oversees ambulances and also the mental health, and the Bradford Teaching Foundation Trust, which looks after the two hospitals in Bradford, which are St. Luke's and Bradford Royal Infirmary. In addition to this, the Integrated Care Board, which was initially clinical commissioning groups that has oversight and oversees all GP practices. So those are the initial parties, and they all come under the auspice or under the umbrella term of Safeguarding Adult Board, which extends to include, well, it just extends to include anybody that they seem deemed necessary can be included in the Adult Safeguarding Board, because the purpose of the Adult Safeguarding Board is to safeguard adults. But like many things in this world, we seem to live in this Orwellian double talk, where things that are meant to be said for one purpose end up doing the exact opposite. So, for example, hospitals are meant to cure people, but yet they seem to be the centers of viruses and diseases. You can end up going fit and healthy into a hospital and end up becoming ill as a result of going to the hospital. Similarly with the police, they're meant to be preventing crime, whereas the reality is that they can be perpetrators of crime. And the same with the justice system. I think Orwell called it the Ministry of Truth, when it's all full of lies. And that's what I'm ultimately facing, lies and deceptions and corruption, and as a consequence, I'm suffering as a consequence. And me and my family are suffering as a consequence. And through these lies and deceptions, I've had my whole family ruined. I've had my whole life ruined. They've taken away all my money. They've taken away all my friends and family, leaving me alone and isolated like this, leaving me vulnerable to attacks from anybody and everybody. I've never been hurt or harmed by my fellow citizens. I keep myself to myself. I don't try to annoy and piss off people. I don't try to interfere in other people's businesses. I just mind my own business. So why was somebody going to hurt me? But the people that are hurting me are primarily the authorities who interfere in my life and utilize my nefarious siblings. So I'm just continuing to lay the foundation groundwork upon what I will be discussing as in the coming days and months, hopefully going forward. But fundamentally, what I am trying to, the story or the narrative or what I'm trying to explain is an issue of murder, and it's one of the most intriguing things of murder, don't you think? It's intriguing, and it's not like a murder mystery, like a whodunit. It's not a whodunit. My story is not a whodunit. We know exactly who did it. It's a howdunit. So when it comes to murder mysteries, usually in many novels, the murder mystery is always unraveled, and it's always a butler. It's quite interesting that it should be the butler that commits the murder, which is effectively what I'm saying here right now. Is the murderer in my particular circumstances is the butler, or the personification of the butler, which is the servant, or the public servant, in this case the local authority. You see, why is it always the butler that ends up being outed as the murderer? Because the butler knows everything. He knows how the household runs, and he is the most he's the least person you suspect. And then it obviously always transpires in a Agatha Christie novel, I would say, that the butler did it. Well, this is exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying the butler did it, but the butler in this case is not. Well, do you have a butler? Does anybody have it, listening to this have a butler? No, we have somebody called a public servant, and that public servant is the local authority. And so the local authority has done it as a public servant, but it's not the local authority alone. It's in collaboration with everybody else. Now, so it's my story is not about who done it. It's how did they do it? How did the local authority end up murdering my family members, end up sending me to prison? That, I think, is an interesting story. Would you not agree? I mean, it's a highly intriguing story, is it not? That the local authority, in collaboration with the police authority and the health authority, have all got around to murdering several of my family members, and here I am looking to be targeted and victimized. That is the overall objective of my logs, to explain to you exactly in detail how it's happened. So I'll leave it for today. I don't want to make it too long, but oh yeah, just one more thing before I go. In case I get killed off, I'm not suicidal, and if I get killed off, it's the local authority, the butler, or the Bradford Council that have done it. I think we should end it.